What was the realization moment for you? How did you accept your narcissism? So, really good question. I've got some longer videos on YouTube that go into it more in depth. I didn't have one moment. Everybody always looks for me to have one moment, one thing. Didn't have that. Slowly understanding bits and pieces of it, learning about emotions, learning about emotional intelligence, learning about shame, learning about personalities, like how different personalities work, DISC, Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, Strengths Finder, Clifton Strengths, like all different types of like different personalities where I'm like, I'm different. I don't connect the same. I don't have the same empathy. I don't have the same care for other people, all this different stuff. And one time I even asked my wife, I was like, maybe I'm a sociopath. And she was like, no, I think you're a narcissist. Looked it up and I was like, no, I'm definitely not a narcissist. Made sure to gaslight her, gaslight other people to make sure they understood that I wasn't a narcissist. And they kept going through the whole like rigmarole. We got with a girl who had BPD, narcissistic traits that made me see some of the stuff that I was doing, but from another person. So kind of opened up my expansion a little bit. Did EMDR therapy. There was like a piece of that. I started getting into that, being like, I don't know what I'm actually doing. I hate this, but I'm like open to this. I got to the place where I went to, got shipped off to a sex intensive addiction thing, I don't even know, intensive, whatever it is. Did that and walked away from it being like, okay, I'm not a sex addict. This is actually narcissism. I didn't want to acknowledge it. Went through Wake Up Warrior Challenge, a 30-day challenge where it started to confront me of the lies that I believed. Like all that started to open up. Okay, so that's like in a nutshell. Like it's hard to be able to go in depth with everything because I don't have like tons of time, but that gives you like an idea. I confronted him. He changed immediately. I was very scared. Sometimes narcissists do that. They'll modify something super quick. Okay. Sometimes they'll modify it super quick at the relationship when you say we can leave. And then that habit, you know that manipulation has always been there. That he doesn't care about you all the time because he chose to make a difference at the very end when he could have done that multiple times before. Was it hard for you to understand a piece of it? How did you family members to try to help understand your toxic behavior? I didn't have family members to help me try to receive our toxic behaviors. Most of my family thought I was an awful liar and couldn't even lie at all. So I got away with tons of lies with the rest of the family. Um, so much work for your person. Yeah, so it's a lot. I mean, it's a daily battle and a daily thing that I work on every single day. From meditation, from stacking, from like working to rewire my mindset every single day. It's like a constant process. It's not something that it's like, oh, I did this for a period of time. Like, no, like I'm in it to win it as far as this long journey of working on how I'm developing myself. And a lot of the tools and a lot of things that I've learned along the way is what we actually use to be able to teach people how to break free from toxic abuse, from being stuck in the trauma bond, in the rumination, giving them the tools to rewire their mindset, how to be able to change it back to truth and reality versus being stuck in the fiction or the fantasy of being with a toxic person. My ex-husband cheated over and over, emotionally, physically, then cheated, left me for someone for a month. We tried to put on a marriage. I can never forgive him. Yeah, a lot of times that does happen. At the end of the day, it's you starting to move forward, you starting to develop you. Like focus on that. What'd you say? He has sociopathic tendencies. Went to counseling. I was floored. My kids believe him in the trauma bonds with him. Divorce was all on me. So true. He agreed to divorce. He's still manipulating. A lot of times you're going to see that when you're dealing with the kids and when you're dealing with like after the fact, like you're going to have to deal with the BIF method, brief, informative, friendly, and firm. You're also going to have to set some really strong boundaries and be super consistent. Be super consistent with your boundaries. A lot of times people start at boundaries and they like lose them within the first couple of days because they're not consistent. Why does he continue to stay in contact with my family and friends every opportunity he gets to show them that he's a good person? Like to kind of be there so that like he looks like the good person, you look more crazy. What if you have kids and you are not married? How do you get support? Support from him as far as like child support, or what type of support are you talking about there? Just let me know in the comments. What was it? Do you feel substance abuse go hand in hand with narcissists? So a lot of times narcissists are addicts in a lot of different ways. Sex, alcohol, drugs, like a lot of different pieces of it. We see that being pretty consistent. Not all addicts are narcissists. Not all narcissists are addicts, but a lot of times they do go hand in hand. So we do see that. It's a good question. He's constantly bored. Goes through women, cars, jobs, keep having kids. Yeah, a lot of times we continue to cycle. It's like, oh, let me find this person. Oh, no, yep. Let me put this person on the pedestal. Yep, another human. Oh, you love this person. Oh, yep, no, that doesn't work. 'Cause you have to understand, like, narcissist doesn't have the same definition of love that you do. They're gonna use and abuse and try to continue to move you forward in, like, the way that they want you so that you become subservient to them so you serve them. I use the toaster illustration all the time. The narcissist views you as a toaster. As soon as you stop working how they want you to toast their toast, then they move on to go to the next person. Like, you see this happen time and time again. So if you're not sure, at the end of the story, all narcissists cheat, period. Like, I think that's true no matter how you label it, no matter how we talk about it, whether it's like, hey, we're talking about narcissists having a physical affair, an emotional affair, online affair, like whatever type of affair you want to talk about. But then also just when you look at the word cheat, like all it is it's like robbing you of something. It's taking something from you. It's taking your hopes, your dreams, like your career, the connection to the kids, like your connection to yourself is robbing you of a lot of stuff, period. Okay. Do they often threaten suicide? Mine does. Suicide would fall closer into BPD, which in a toxic scenario would look narcissistic. That would be I don't see a lot of narcissists that threaten suicide more on the BPD side. Hopefully that makes sense. Does gray rocking narcissist in a relationship really work? Maria, I normally say it works 50% of the time. Sometimes it makes them disinterested and they walk away, and other times it just makes it worse and they like ramp up and explode and the abuse continues worse. So please be careful. We need to learn to trust our instincts and stop expecting the other to dictate what reality is. 100%. The first thing is to make sure your instincts are actually correct. Grounding yourself in actually the truth of the situation. Until you're like locked into the truth of the situation, you'll always be stuck. You'll always go back time and time again. Like you see it. We'll get someone free, and if they're not actually working on changing their mindset, changing how they actually are going through life, they'll go right back to that person or another person. You have to take it to the courthouse. Yes, you do. Otherwise, you're not going to get money from them. Period. Okay? Skip mediation. Go straight to the courthouse if you want any type of support. How does a narcissist work as a co-partner? It really doesn't. If you're talking about like with kids, you're looking at parallel parenting, not co-parenting, living two separate lives, having third-party communication, not being able to see, interact with that person at all. Mine thinks I just sat comfort eating. I'm not going to give him knowledge that I'm not strong enough yet. Get my peace disturbed. Gray rocking works even when you have kids. I only contact when you have to. You have to be strong and not let them back in. Yeah, 100%. I would definitely say be careful with gray rocking before you've got a custody agreement and a divorce finalized. Sometimes gray rocking can look bad in the court size as you're leading up to it. Once you get it all separated and legalized out, gray rock all you want. Go as no contact as you can. Okay. Also, when we choose to reconcile, he was struggling emotionally. I wanted him to do his part, but he was annoyed and said I was embarrassed. Yeah, lots of narcissists going to abuse inconvenience. If you want to talk to me like one on one, you can reach out. You can go to rawmotivations.com. If you're interested in like getting out of the trauma bond, breaking the rumination, actually showing up for yourself, go to claritychallenge.net, or you can shoot me a message on any of the social media platforms. Like the goal is to help you break free, but the goal really is to help you stand as a powerful person in power with understanding who you are. Like there's so many people that don't understand the truth about the toxic relationship and the truth of who they are and the direction they want to go. That's what we try to be able to help with. So if you want to talk to me one-on-one, you can go to rawmotivation.com, click the one-on-ones, or you can go to claritychallenge.net to start off with our Clarity Challenge. 45 days, invest about 30 to 45 minutes in you a day. Like, don't sign up for me, don't sign up for anyone else, sign up for you. Like, if you actually want to change, if you actually want that to change in your life, that's what people find when they go through that challenge. Should I file for child support? If you're completely no contact, then I wouldn't. If you're at the place where you're at contact and you want to be able to separate it even more, then I would file for child support. Okay. Like there's also a piece that you have to be able to understand. Like it's only going to drag out till it gets finalized, and even then, there's no guarantee. Going through the court system is the best way to get money, and it's still not a guarantee that you can get money. Okay. Some people go to the place and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and just cut everything and move on." Like that's how we've got some people who actually have full custody of their kids, decision making, everything, because they gave up child support to have full custody. And the narcissists did that because they cared more about their image and more about their money than they did about the kids. Okay. After Grey Rock, my ex-husband, as soon as I say one word, I get at least 100 text messages. Yeah. Do you have any suggestions for therapy, coaching, counseling for my children? I need someone who specializes in narcissistic abuse. I don't have anything for kids that specialize in narcissistic abuse. I work with a lot of different age range of people, like going through. So, like, it'd be something. Tammy, it'd be something like depending on the age of your kids, like if you want to do the clarity challenge, reach out personally to me and we can see about getting you in there and bringing your kids in as well, if that's something you want to do. As far as like coaching and like counseling, I don't have anything specifically for narcissism. I do have a contact that's a really great guy that works specifically with young men, helping them be men when they don't have a father figure or when the father figure is an asshole or a narcissist. Like I do have a guy that is really amazing at that, and he's putting together a really good program. He's doing what I'm trying to do inside of Thriver community, what Wake Up Warrior does inside of Warrior. For Warrior does it for men. I'm doing it inside of Thriver for women, and then he's doing it for young men, trying to actually help them stand up. Really powerful program. He's got a really awesome system. I have a couple clients that have their kids in it as well, actually. So I know him personally, and I know like firsthand how it's working. So if you have a son who works with young men, if you have a son that doesn't have a father figure, and like I would love to be able to have like an interaction of like how he works as he works with the parent and also with the son, trying to help the son actually be able to grow, develop themselves. It's a fantastic program. It's built off the same stuff that's helped change my life. So if that's something that you want to interact with, message me and I can get you the contact info. My oldest is my only boy, and he's 24 years old. With that, I'd give you the link for Wake Up Warrior. Because I believe this one guy he's working with like 21. It's kind of like the age range he's working with. All right. He brings a new wife 8 months after you went to court because you want to react. Yeah, 100%. Wants a reaction. Anyways, moral of the story, if you didn't watch from the very beginning, all narcissists cheat, whether they're cheating on you or whether they're cheating you out of your life that you actually had. That's the main point of today. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, you can go to rawmotivations.com. Would love to interact with you. Would love to help you as we continue to help people move forward, break out of the abuse, but also just break out of the mindset that keeps you stuck, that keeps you overwhelmed, that keeps you trapped, thinking and being in a toxic relationship. If you want to start breaking the trauma bond, doing it at your own pace, 45 minutes a day, 45 minutes a day, then go to claritychallenge.net. It is a challenge that you get into, you'll be involved in a community that's going through it to be able to help you transform, to be able to help you move forward.